Welcome to TwoQuestions.tv. I'm Susan Marancini-Mo. Joining me today is Dr. Armando Gonzalez, also known as Dr. Mondo, and he's been on the show before. He received his doctorate of psychology in marriage and family therapy, and he currently practices as a licensed therapist, providing counseling and coaching. And when he's not practicing, he's also a popular speaker, invited to present on his research. Hi, Dr. Mondo. Welcome to the show.
Hey, good to see you, Susan. How you been?
Good. How about you?
Been great. Yeah. Excited to chat with you.
How goes the plant-based lifestyle?
You know, it's almost been a year and it goes amazing. And yeah, it just continues to get better and better and better. And I'm actually getting ready to run a marathon, my first marathon in a couple months. And so, yeah, I've just been like in this new phase of adjusting to my body and having all this energy. And so now I'm just like waking up, like today I woke up, I'm like, I think I'm gonna run. And I ran 10 miles and I was like, that felt great. And I think I'll probably do it again tomorrow. It's just, it sounds ridiculous, but it's been so amazing. So it gets better and better.
Okay. All right. So I've been looking forward to this show for a while because you're a weight loss expert. I know we wouldn't normally be talking about weight loss on a business show, but the reality is so many people in business struggle because we're all sedentary. We're all on the computer. Why are we all so overweight and why is it so hard to lose weight?
Well, a lot of us are overweight because of the fact that, like you said, it's so much of what we focus on is the physical aspects of it. So we think, you know, sure, being sedentary is actually linked with premature death. So we know that you can have the healthiest diet, but if you're not moving, then there's a good chance that you might pass away at an early age. So we know that, but we also then tend to focus a lot on this exercise thing, and like exercise is the key. And because I'm sedentary and I'm not exercising, that's why I'm overweight. When in reality, that's a part of it. But what they found in most of the recent longitudinal research on weight loss is that, you know, the old adage of you can't outrun a fork is truly the case, that you can't outrun what you're putting into your body. So a lot of, I think, what the issue is for business folks and like ourselves is that we're not really putting a whole lot of time and intention into how we're fueling our body. And, you know, on my run this morning, I was chatting with a friend of mine, and he was just saying, you know, I really realized that I use food as a way to reward myself after a long day. And so when you start to look at our work-life balance and how out of whack that is for so many of your viewers and your listeners, that when that balance becomes out of whack, we start to use food as a reward. We start to use food as a comfort for uncomfortable emotions, or even as a celebratory act, as a way of rewarding ourselves for going through a tough day. So I think part of the biggest issue isn't so much the movement. We need to be moving, but really what it comes down to is how are we fueling our body? And when we're overworked and we're out of balance, we're much more likely to be less intentional about looking at that aspect of our life.
No doubt, no doubt. And a part of me really wants to get into, okay, hold on a minute. Did you just say you were talking to someone while you were on your run? But I'm not going to go there. I'm not going to.
Hey, this plant-based life, I'm telling you. No, it's incredible. Yeah, like the 10 miles today, the entire 10 miles flew by because we were having conversation. And, you know, that's a whole, like you said, a whole different thing. But yes, running when you are meditating or running when you are having a good conversation, it's a completely different act. We'll save that for a different time. But I could talk about that too.
We're definitely coming back to that because you can see I'm like, are you insane? What are you talking about right now?
It's amazing. Oh my God. Oh, it's so amazing.
Well, all right. So I think the other thing is we get so busy that we don't take time out to exercise, and we don't take time to think about our diets and be intentional. How can we, and I think, you know, I think that there's always a question, how can I make it a priority? The daily grind just seems, it takes so much out of us that it's very hard to make it a priority. What advice can we give people?
I think sometimes what you have to do is you have to realize that I don't care how fixated you are on coming up with a solution. Now this applies to in your business, right? So if you're in a business and you're in a crisis and you're in a crunch and you need to innovate and you need to come up with a solution and you need to be creative, if you're in a stressed out state, I don't care how bad you want that solution, you're not going to find the solution in that state of mind.
Right.
What you need to do is you need to switch your state of mind. You need to get into a different place in order to have that sort of creativity flow to you. The same goes for how you're approaching your health and your fitness and your dietary part of your life. Sometimes you need to just switch it up and just get completely out of it. I'm not really big on the whole like 30-day detox or 7 day. I'm not really big into that, but here's what I do like. I do like the idea of 7 to 10 days of resetting yourself. And so if that's a 7 to 10 days that you can, you know, in my world, it would be eat whole foods, plant-based. So if it has a mother or it has a face, you're not eating it for 7 to 10 days. If it's processed, you're not eating it for 7 to 10 days. Then at the end of that 7 to 10 days, don't plan anything further than that. Where are you at in terms of your mental capacity to make a different decision about where do you want to go from here? At the end of that, you might decide, I want to stick with this, or I just now feel like I'm in a place to be more intentional. So we need to have this really big break from the routine that we're in order to get intentional again. It's not going to just happen, unfortunately, from listening to even this tidbit of this video. And it's not going to just happen from 15 minutes. You have to step away and then get into a different mindset in order to be intentional about asking that question of yourself.
Yeah. I will say this. I think when my husband and I did, you know, Whole30 just to try it out, see what is this all about? And I was shocked to discover how it changed the way I felt about food. Just that break you're talking about. Because I've struggled with food my whole life. Like if it's on your plate, I'm interested. What are you eating? What's it all about? What's going on over there? And I want to eat all the things all the time. And so that has always been a challenge for me. But going through Whole30, I became acutely aware of how some foods that I've been putting in my system really make me feel, and what the effect is on my energy levels, on the way my body feels, on my digestive system. And it really helps you. That break you're talking about really helps and can help you to really clarify, like, oh, this is a food that kind of makes me sluggish and tired. Maybe I don't want to eat that right before my big meeting or presentation or interviews.
Yeah. I mean, and the thing is that we're so disconnected. So again, you know, we're living in this perpetual state of being disconnected from our bodies, disconnected from this sort of information. Like these signals are happening. We're just not listening to them. We're not paying attention. And when you go back to, you know, I don't care whatever your end goal is, whether it's to be a millionaire or whether it is to expand your company and build a brand or whatever it is, that you have to realize that how you are fueling your body, how you are fueling your engine on a daily basis is going to directly dictate your ability to carry that out. You know, and if you are not making that a priority, then unfortunately you're only operating at half capacity, a quarter of capacity. And I see this all the time with people that, you know, I'm seeing it in my own life, because a year ago, I was in a state where I was about 90 pounds heavier than I am now. And I was struggling to get through my day. I wouldn't have time to do this interview. I wouldn't have time to take anything else on other than just my practice and my family life. Now I'm having a chance to do so many more things. And I really go back to it all starts with the nutrition. How am I feeling my body? And doing exactly what you're saying, listening to myself. I'm now able to say, I understand the relationship between food and my body and what it's actually doing. And when you can use that to your advantage, all the things that you want become accelerated. And that's where I think for the folks that are listening, you know, business professionals and people that have huge aspirations as entrepreneurs, this is a neglected area of your life that may honestly unlock so much for you that it's hard to really quantify how much it can unlock for you.
Yeah. It's fascinating. You know, those big goals, especially those big weight loss goals, are interesting because I've had a few clients along the way who over the years, a client is locked up in their achievement level, locked up in themselves. And there's something about that weight loss journey that shows them, it's not only it frees them, but it also shows them that they're capable of far more than they ever imagined possible, because they can make that happen.
Yeah,
Fascinating.
it's so fascinating. And this is what we talk about all the time. It's rewriting their story. People who are successful long-term use weight loss as the springboard, like you're talking about, for greater change.
Yeah.
So it's not just weight loss to lose weight. It's that I'm rewriting my entire life story. And so that's going to be, I'm rewriting my story of how I show up in business. I'm rewriting my story of how I'm going to show up in relationships, how I'm going to show up in the world, how I'm going to go after my goals. Because when you can take this one thing, so many of us are hopeless about our health.
Yeah.
But when we take this one area that we're hopeless about and we're able to then empower ourselves to find hope again and feel like we have control, there is this sense of I can conquer anything.
Yeah.
And we translate that back to other areas of our lives. A lot of people right now are struggling and they're overweight, but they're really successful in their business. Imagine if they got that part of their life not under control, if they use that to be an empowered part of themselves, how much more effective would they be in those other areas of their life, including business? It's hard to quantify. It's hard to really encapsulate, but we just see time and again that it's a powerful, powerful transformational tool.
Absolutely. This is why you come on the show, because you're so great at this. Yes.
I love it. Love it. Love it so much. So good to talk to you always.
You too. We'll come back and we'll talk about this talking while running thing.
That's the next one. We get to run. That's the final thing I'm going to leave people with. We don't have to run. We get to run. When you get that shift in mindset, all of a sudden it becomes a whole different thing. That's my little teaser for the next time we talk.
All right. We'll see. We'll try.
We get to. It's a gift. It's a gift. I'm telling you.
I'm going to listen and I'm going to take that in, and I'm going to see what happens between now and the next time we talk.
Just notice how your body reacts to that. You're like, anyway, we'll notice it. All right.
Okay, we'll discuss. All right. Thank you so much for joining me today. Where can people find you?
People can find me on Instagram at the Dr. Mondo, THEDRMONDO, and on Facebook, same way, the Dr. Mondo. And they can find me online, drmondo.org. Those are the best ways to find me. Stay in touch.
Perfect. And we'll have those links in the show notes for today. Thank you again for being on the show.
Always. Thank you.
All right. Viewers, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.